Hello everyone, thank you for taking the time to watch the videos that I've started doing now that I've gotten over my fear of talking to the camera. One of the things I get asked about a bit is makeup. So obviously I wear a lot of makeup for shows, on stage, and a few people ask me sort of what I do daily and then what my steps are for show makeup. So I thought I would share a bit of what I would wear day to day, but also a look that is kind of my go-to at the moment, which is your sort of diva glam look, but mainly made up of golds, neutral colours and some pink. Before we talk about makeup, it's also really important to acknowledge the importance of skincare. There's a whole lot of stuff out there and a whole lot of really expensive stuff. I'm no dermatologist, but I think you just need a really basic routine and common sense. I think if you have to pick your few important products, you definitely need a really good cleanser and exfoliator to get rid of the dead skin cells. You need a good moisturizer that suits your skin type, and sunscreen is really the biggest thing to prevent sun damage. If I were to pick other things to add to that, I really like using eye creams and face oils. My skin is certainly much more dry than oily, so getting more moisture locked in there, but definitely keeping hydrated and keeping covered up in the sun when you can. I thought I would share a couple of the products that I like using. None of these are ridiculous, they're all pretty reasonably priced. So one range that I really like is Snowberry. This is a sunscreen. I haven't been using that in the winter, but I would definitely use it in the summer. And this is an SPF 30, but the consistency of it actually sits really well under makeup, so that's nice and helpful. At the moment I'm loving Linden Leaves, beautiful products, so I have been using a bunch of their things, but they've got some nice face serums and face oils, lovely cleansers and a whole bunch of body stuff, but their face products are wonderful. ASAP is another range, Australian skincare, which I like. At the moment I'm kind of tending towards the more natural products. And one really good New Zealand brand, which is in a really good price range, which you can actually get in the supermarket, is Skinfood. So I like their mud masks and moisturisers. But anyway, basically, you know what's good for you, but find things that suit your skin type the best. But cleanse well, never leave your makeup on. I use simple face wipes as a last resort. I keep them by my bed, so if I crawl into bed after a show and I'm feeling lazy and don't want to wash my face, that's my go-to, so that I'm not going to bed with makeup on my face. So I'm pretty much makeup free. I have some eye makeup on, some mascara, but I have washed my face and I've got a bit of Snowberry face oil. I actually use the massage oil as a face oil, I like it. But what I have been enjoying, not daily, but for shows, is MAC Strobe Cream. Lots of people rave about this. So this gets your brightness, dewiness, reflectiveness. And also I use my hands on myself. If you've got good clean hands, that's fine. If I was doing somebody else's makeup, yes, I would be using brushes, but hands are good, warmth helps. Products sink in. This feels very strange doing this through camera, but if you see my eyes shifting, it's because I'm trying to see my reflection in camera. So to start off with the Strobe Cream, and then I would get going with my concealer and foundation. So what am I using? At the moment I'm liking a Revlon Colorstay concealer. It seems to last well, and I always pick a brighter colour for brightness. So wet that on under. I am not too fussy about how I put makeup on now because I do it a lot. Your fourth finger is best pressure wise to be gentle on the skin under the eyes. But yes, as I said, I pick a brighter shade because I often have dark eyes. So it's sort of like a brightener as well as a concealer, the way that I use it. So I'll put on a base of that and then I might add more later on. And then foundation wise, I am a big fan of MAC Pro Longwear As you can see, I'm very pale at the moment, which is exacerbated by these lights. I use NC20, and like the name, Pro Longwear, it lasts really well. So if you're sweating, dancing, running around, it'll stay on. And it also smells really nice, which is a bonus. So again, I am not too precious about how that I put that on. I just work it in so that the product sits well. Some people prefer a more matte look. I mean, you can do this base and then use your powders to get a more matte look, but I like the more dewy, bit of shine look. And I'm not sure these lights are doing me a huge amount of favours, but that's fine. And then to add, so this would also pretty much be my day-to-day makeup, except for I wouldn't be using the Strobe Cream, but I would be using the concealer. Some days I'll do just concealer, no foundation, or maybe a bit of tinted moisturiser, but I'll definitely do the concealer. And what I always do too, so I consider this sort of my base even though it's technically not, for eyes I do a Revlon liquid black. I do that on the top. Again, you can get things to guide you for doing your liquid if you want cat's eyes and things. I just do a thin line on the top. I often have eyelash extensions, so I just like it to blend them in and to give the upper eyelid a bit of definition, and I don't tend to put anything on the lower eyelid for eyeliner. So I will do that, and then it always helps to have a bit of brow definition, so I like using the Ardell brow product. I get it in blonde. Clearly my eyebrows are darker than my hair, that's fine, I like it that way. You can get lighter products obviously, and again you can get stencils, but I like to just follow the natural shape. So I will fill those in. Because mine are a little bit thin on the outer ends, so I like to make them look a little better, and then the brush to brush them out so they're not so harsh looking. And that is sort of my base, which can be your daily, not too extreme makeup. And now I will show you what I would do for stage that will take things to a whole nother level. So for me, for stage, the feature that I really like to focus on is the eyes. If I had to pick one, definitely be the eyes. So I like to start with the lashes. Some people do them at the end. I do them at the beginning because if things get messy, you're not going to muck with the eyeshadow that you've already done. So the lashes that I have come to love, I've tried a whole ton over the years. I really like Ardell's Demi Wispies. So they're black, they have a nice fan, and they are sort of not too heavy. You can get away with them looking quite natural if you want them to. And I find they don't sort of detract from the rest of the makeup that you've done too much. And glue wise, the most reliable glue I have found is the Duo glue. I'm not sure if things will look backwards on this camera. Anyhow, Duo is some tough glue, they won't come falling off. So what I do is I put a tiny bit of the glue on my hand, and then I use the end of the bottle and I just apply the glue to the base of the false lash. And the thing here is we certainly need to be conscious of what's in our products. These sorts of products, anything that, obviously that goes near your eyes, it's likely to go into your eyes. So for strong products that are not so good for us, like the lash glue, you really want to use the smallest amount possible and not use it so often, but just use it a little bit sparingly. So I'm just applying this carefully. And then you sort of let it sit for a sec on the lash so that it becomes a little bit tacky. When that's happening, I tend to bend them. I'll curve them like this so that they get a better curve to the lash. And again, I'll do this holding a small mirror, which might be a little bit hard one-handed. I've got extensions in at the moment, so I try not to go so close because I don't want to get them caught up in the extensions that I have, but you want to get them as close to the lash line as possible normally. And I just place them. If you can trim the lashes, that can help if you want a less extreme look, or depending on the shape of your eye. And I just tend to hold those until they sit the way that I want. And generally what will happen is the outer corners will be as you wish and the inner corners won't be, so you might want to add some more glue to the inners. So just to show you for reference, this is the non-false lash eye. This is with the Demi Wispies, so they straight away give a much more dramatic look. I could have done with trimming these ones a little bit, but anyhow, that shows you that they certainly have an impact when you're on stage. So once I have my lashes attached, I always do another run of the liquid eyeliner, because with glue you don't want to see a glue line and you want to sort of blend the lashes into the eyelid. Whoops, that's a bit smudgy, so that they're not so obvious that they don't stand out that they've just been whacked on. So I literally just run over the edge where they've been attached and a bit onto the eyelid itself. Just very gentle strokes with a thin point. Because I always feel you want the false lash to blend as much as possible, and then if anything does happen to come loose, then your chances of it looking better are higher, because it's more sort of connected to your entire makeup as opposed to just being whacked on at the end. Okay, so that's sort of the lash liner part sorted. So then I go on to doing eyeshadows, which is always fun. I start with a very neutral base eyeshadow. I will be using a MAC Ricepaper, and literally I just coat pretty much the entire eyelid, not up to the eyebrow, but the main part of the eyelid where you would normally apply eyeshadow. I was just using a round brush, and I suppose I work outwards, but again I'm not too phased about how I'm applying it because most of it is going to be covered. And actually while we're here, I will do a tiny amount with a straight edge brush on the lower lash line, and I will bring that quite far into the corners for a bit of brightness. Okay, so that you don't really see anything, but that's just your base. And then a product that I am totally loving right now is an Australis Shimmer Pigment Pot. I found these recently and I love rose gold. So this is, how can I show this to the camera without it falling everywhere? Literally a glitter pot of rose gold. And a lot of glitters you need to turn into a liquid form with some kind of other product. This you don't, it just sort of bonds as you work it. So I would put a small amount. I would actually start with the lid so it doesn't go everywhere. Get enough glitter on there. I would pat it down a bit first in the lid so that it's not so loose. And then I would start applying it to the entire lid. Again, when I say entire, it's not literally the entire lid. If I were being really careful, I would be holding a tissue under here, but I'm not too worried. I can always brush it away or cover it up. But I am just packing down more of that glitter and adding it to this eyeshadow. And I don't know how great the lighting is here, but these glitter particles are super sparkly when they're in the light on stage. They really sparkle. Whoopsie, I am just losing the lid, but that's fine. So I will get a good covering of both eyelids with the glitter. So I have done the top eyelids with the glitter. Again, this lighting is a little bit limited here, but it is very sparkly. And then what I'll do is I'll get my straight edge brush again and do the lower lash line very thin, but just so that that sparkle is there too. And I won't do this right into the inner corners, I'll just do it on the edges, but just so that we have that shimmer there as well. Okay, so we've done our glitter eyeshadow, and I've just done a really quick application of eyeliner again because the glitter then can get caught into the eyelashes, so to tidy that up a wee bit. And then what I do is a bit of shading with the eyeshadow. I'll often use just a brown, but I really love these Maybelline Hyper Diamond palettes. They come in a whole lot of different colours. You can get a blue palette, a green palette. This is sort of a bronzy, well actually, what colour is it called? I am not sure. Bronzy, I would say. So I'm going to use the darkest colour at the top, and I'm going to do it to shade the outside of the eyelids. And again, I will use a round brush, but I'll use a fatter round brush. And I literally shade a bit higher than where the eyelid crease is. So that sort of widens the eye look. So this is very bronzy now and quite shimmery. So I don't bring that in, I keep it out onto the edges a little bit further and up high, but mainly on the outer edge of the eyelash, of the eyelid. And then I get my handy dandy straight brush and I do the same on the lower lash line, just to make it a little bit darker. And as you will see, because I'm doing this fast, I'm getting a lot of product dropping down my face. Because I'm on stage, I don't mind too much, because it ends up, if I brush it away, it ends up being just sort of shimmer. But again, if you were concerned about that, you would be holding your tissue. And I add in quite a lot of that product on the bottom eyelid. to get quite a dramatic look. And I think these colours, I'm not too educated in colour matching, but I think the goldy bronzers are good at brightening blue and green eyes. So I'm really working that product into the bottom because that top eyelid was already pretty heavily done with the glitter product, but I wanted to add a bit of drama. And also because I'm not using an eyeliner. I don't tend to use an eyeliner ever. On the bottom I will be using eyeshadows, just with a darker colour. So I will tidy up the crumbs in a moment, and I would maybe add a bit of that same product with the straight edge brush to the lash line on the top eyelid, just to get a bit of blending. Okay, so I have just brushed away all of the glitter that has come down below the eyes and added some more of the concealer that I used originally. And now what I'm going to do is add a bit more brightness to the inner corners and then add my mascara. A brand that I love is Inika, I-N-I-K-A. They do all vegan natural products and they have great colour palettes for blushes, lipsticks, eyes. So this is a highlighting product. I actually don't remember the name. Anyway, I would squeeze a little bit of that onto the hand, and I would use my fourth finger and apply that carefully to the very inner corners of the eye. Both sides, obviously. And up above the eyeshadow that I've done, up to the eyebrow. So this is really just for our brightness and shimmer. And if you make any whoopsies, obviously wipe it up. If I were to a bit onto my eyebrow, then I would tidy it up with my eyebrow product again. Sometimes I even bring this down into under the eyelid, because hey, we're on stage, we can be as sparkly as we want, and I'm all about shimmer and brightness. Okay, so we've done our eyeshadow colours, we've done our eyeliner, eyebrows. Then I like to add mascara to blend it all in. This product is actually something I picked up when I got eyelash extensions in Auckland. It is called Ilashcare Mascara Protector, and I have decided that I really like it, so I use it a lot. So I would be putting this into the lashes to thicken them up, to cover up any bits of glitter or product that has gotten in there, and I think to also make the false lash look less rigid. So I just work the product through. And once I've done the falsies, I do it on the bottom. I go horizontal and I just jiggle a bit sometimes vertical for the edges, I guess. And often I will do a white liner on the inner rim. For this look, I quite like that it's quite smoky and dramatic, so I'm not going to do that. So because we're doing heavy eyes, quite a lot of mascara. Trying to get close enough so you can actually see what I'm doing here. And obviously there are parts that can be tidied. I'm always one for getting it on, and then I can tidy later when I've got time, but I always like to get the majority sorted, so I go, okay, if I get held up with anything, then I'm okay. My hair and makeup's 90% done. So we've gone pretty heavy on the mascara, pretty heavy on the eyeshadows, but lots of blending. And you'll notice, even though this is a smoky sort of look, these are all, ooh, excuse me, mascara to the nose, all golds and bronzers. So even though it's a lot of product there, the only black that I'm using is in the lashes. And this would be the time to check with your glue that you haven't got any inner corners coming in, and also using your liner and mascara to tidy up the lashes and any parts of the eyeshadow that may have gotten mucky. Again, I like to get it done first and then I can tidy, so you can work those lashes as you go. Okay, so far we've done our base and our eyebrows and our eyes. Then we get to do the face colouring and shaping. I change products all the time. I come across things that I like. What I am enjoying as a blush at the moment is an Australis product. So it was Australis for the eyeshadow glitter. This is called Show Some Cheek Blush, and the colour palette is Fame. I don't like super deep pinks. This is kind of verging towards a more peachy pink. And for stage, I go pretty heavy on the blush. So I like to smile, get your apples of your cheeks here, and work the blush into the cheeks. I know we don't want to look too clowny, but we can blend. So I am not adding more product each time I'm doing this. I am blending in the colour. But for stage, we definitely want to see cheeks. So now I would be doing my contour. And what I'm using at the moment is Thin Lizzy's. So this is the 6-in-1 powder. And this is the brush that comes with it. And you can read, there are lots of things you can read online and look up about contouring. I don't get too phased. I definitely like to have the cheekbone contour, but that's normally what I leave it at. So if you need to find them, suck it in. And you go under the cheekbone. And again, start off with the product and then work it in. So you don't want to look too hollow, but you want to have a decent amount of definition. And again, stage, Glam, we're pretty lucky we can get away with quite a lot, which would not be your everyday kind of look. So that's pretty harsh at the moment, as you can see. Then I would go hard at working that in. I use my fingers a lot anyway. I would work that in with my hands, but really get that product blended in so we don't have just strip of colour. Lots of people like to do the contour down the nose, up the top of the forehead and the sides of the chin. I would maybe do a tiny bit of it as like a bronzer, but I don't focus too much on contouring, just mainly the cheeks. So I've done the contour and the blush, excuse me, and then I would go on to powder to blend again and to get a more matte finish. I use a Maybelline powder at the moment, and I broke it when I was traveling, but I've put it into another little puddle. And I don't use a heck ton of powder. I just mainly like to do it for longevity of makeup and also to blend again. So I'll put that on my brush, I'll bang it a little bit on my hand so I'm not going to get big cakes of it. And I'll mainly focus that, well, on the forehead, because that's where we get sweaty when we're moving around. And I will just literally go over where I have done the blush and the contour, so that again will help blend those in, because we want to look like it's all one. Again, it's quite extreme because it's for stage, but you still want it to look blended. So we have done so far our concealer, foundation, eyebrows, eye base, eyeshadows, blush, contour. Oh, speaking of as well, this product I would also use as a body bronzer if I wanted to be bronzed. And another product I love is Linden Leaves Gold Shimmer Mousse. I started using this when I was on tour with the Tintinos, and it is beautiful. So it is literally gold, and it's got all of this shimmer in it, and I put it on my upper body, so like my cheeks if I'm wearing a gown, and my arms, and so that you've got those really nice reflective particles when you're on stage and you just feel pretty for it. And speaking of shimmer, then I would be doing my highlight, and this is another Australis product I have been enjoying. So this is called Radiance High-Life Illuminating Strobe Powder. They say apply at the top of your cheekbones, forehead, chin and cupid's bow for luminous skin. I just sort of do whatever the heck I want with it. I'm going to use a big brush, dab dab dab, and I really go for the cheekbones. So I want reflection up the top here, and I'll also blend it into the blush so that I've got this sort of nice reflective shimmery blush going on. So again, this is quite a lot. We can play because we're going glam. So you can see that's really reflective, and I think it can be really pretty when it's mixed in with the blush. And then I might use, well, sometimes I'll even use it, I'll use my finger, and I will go here under the eyebrow. The cupid's bow is definitely a place that can do with highlights, so that is here. I don't want to be too shiny, but another place that you can afford it is down the center of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and a tiny bit on the chin. And again, you want to blend it in so you don't look like you're just really shiny. But when you hit the light, you can see you get your really nice, that needs to be blended more, but you get your really nice reflection on your cheeks and your eyes. So at about this point I would be doing touch-up, so I would be checking the eyes, checking the eyeshadow was even, checking the lashes and the eyeliner like we were talking about Sometimes one can sit a bit lower than the other. So I'll often, what I'll do there is work a bit of mascara into it to hold it. Like so. I don't think my face has ever been this close to a camera. And it would be the time to, I really like the brightness under the eyes because I don't like looking tired. So I would often add a little more concealer here and work that in. And you could also add that to, say if I thought my nose was too shiny, I could add that to the nose. And when I decided I was happy with how that was all looking, and nothing was looking too crazy, then I would do my lips. I would always do them last, and always take it with you, because if you're eating or drinking it's going to be wearing off. I like pretty basic lips, especially if we're going so heavy with the eyes, but we still want definition and a bit of colour. So handy dandy Australis. This one's called Misbehave. It's just a quite nudie pink. So I would line my lips, and I actually, when I line my lips, I don't just line, I fill in the entire lips. And you can extend a bit if you want, not too much though. And the top. And then I would do a gloss or a lipstick. I don't love wearing gloss. I don't love the feel of it. But one that I do like is a Revlon gloss. This one's called Beyond Natural. Cream lip gloss. This one's Spice. But I'm a big fan of MAC lipsticks. And this one is a Creamsheen called Modesty, which is quite a beautiful, easy colour. So I would put on layer of that. Alright, so it's a Creamsheen. It's obviously not super matte, but it's not super metallic or anything. I do that a couple times. I don't blot. And that is pretty much it. So to recap, we have done the base, concealer, I think very important, brightness, foundation, brows, not too extreme, but adding to the shape, tightening them up a bit, and the thickness, lashes, putting the lashes on first, eyeshadows, blending, 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 blending. Blending is your friend. I've said, I guess, many times that we're on stage, you can kind of get away with things, but you want still to blend your colours. I love a bit of shimmer and sparkle, so that's what I've used there. We've gone for the gold. And then cheeks, blush, contour, body, if you are doing that, if you're wearing something that's got bare skin, and then your highlight and your lips. My stage makeup would normally be some kind of variation on the same. I tend to go, as I've said, I tend to go pretty heavy on the eyes, not so hard on the lips. And also if you're performing and singing, it's nice not to worry too much about what your lips are doing. I find it hard to wear red lipstick or the likes, even though it can be really cool and really dramatic. You worry about your teeth, so your nudes are kind of helpful in that regard. And often for stage, I'll do my hair as well. I won't show you that, but I like to use a curling rod or bar, so not like your GHDs where you're twisting, literally a rod where you grab a piece, you hold the rod and you twist it around and then you remove it. That is because it's so fast. You do tend to get more of a beachy wave than like a Hollywood big wave, but I'm quite happy with that. because my hair is dead straight otherwise. And then I'll do a bit of spray and either pin it up or pin the front back. But that is pretty much my standard go-to. These lights have been pretty extreme so that you can see what I'm doing and so that I can see what I'm doing. I don't know if they give this the best justice on the camera, but anyhow we'll see. But if I kill some of them, you'll see that you get different reflection and I'm not so pale. But you really want, with that highlight and eye shimmer and sheen, that's what you really want, is catching the light. And I'm certainly not super pale, but if I wanted to add a bit of bronze, I would get one of my big brushes and I would use the Thin Lizzy's again, dab it around, and I would literally just go with the sound effects to get some more bronzeness going on. But I'm quite the pale person, so I try not to go too far from what I naturally am. But again, oh, I didn't break anything, but it's a bit of a mess. I don't like to go too far from what could be considered to be natural for me, but again, on stage we can get away with quite a lot. So that is me, that is my gold Diva Glam look. Let me know if you've got any questions or anything else you'd like to see, or if you've seen a hair or makeup look that you would like me to share. And otherwise, thank you very much for watching.